the webinar. We're having a young woman. Some of you kids won't think she's so young, but I mean, she's in her mid-30s, so I consider her a baby. And she happens to live here in Scotland. And Lassie, and who's going to tell you how this works, and sometimes because 90% plus of the people that follow this stuff are men. I personally think that's wrong, but anyway, 90% are men, and although the women are very successful at it, and because she just lives 15 miles from here, when you listen to her, because some people say you can't do this in Britain, and for sure you can't do it in Scotland. Just like everybody says you can't do it in Germany. Everybody's got a reason. Everybody's got a reason. You can't do it in the old Eastern Bloc countries, but all those places. Although I told you, the countries that have heavy corruption, some of the African countries in Russia, it's harder. But it's not impossible. It's just harder. Because you got to factor in the 7 steps, there's no payout step. There's no payout step. But it's certainly very doable. We're not going to do the homework on YouTube, so you don't spill your guts forever more. But we had a lot of homework last night. And today, we probably won't have that many. But it really depends when I change the modules around at night, depending on the input I get from you kids during the daytime. But so far, we're back where we should be in the seminar because we started a little late the first day, as you well know. Any questions from last night? What was the takeaway that you saw last night? You saw
motivation about it. There was.
Yeah. Okay. So just tell what are your takeaways?
Dream big. Dream very, very big.
All right. Well, one of my third regret is I didn't set high enough goals. I set a $2 billion goal, and I had reason just like you. Why did I come up with $2 billion? I said I wanted to be the 50th largest energy company in the world, and I thought that equated to about $2 billion. And I wanted to be the highest paid energy executive in the top 5 energy executives paid compensation. So since I started with nothing, $800, I thought that was pretty over the top. In hindsight, of course, it wasn't. And when they threw me out, the shareholders threw me out. Great Western was the 50th largest energy company on the planet, market cap. Coincidentally. Now, was it a coincidence? No. That I didn't know it was a 50th. I had picked Zapata Energy, which was the Bush family's oil company. They were the 50th largest then when I started. And then 7 years later, I was the 50th. 4 of 5 years, I was in the highest paid energy executives on the planet. 1 year I was top. Now, energy executives got paid a lot of money in regular terms, not in Zuckerberg terms, but I mean, these guys were making $4, $5, $6, $7, $8 million a year then. Now they're making a lot more, but back then. And I was in the top 4 years. Top 1. Was it an accident? No. Where I really fell short was when I said $2 billion. I should have said $20 billion, but I didn't. And when I got tossed out, we were $500 million in today's dollars. It's significantly more than $1 billion. And the one thing that even though I don't like President Obama, but the one thing I do take my hat off is he set audacious goals. For a dope smoking fucking, kid, to say when he's 19 years old, to say he's going to be the first black president of the United States, fuck, that's big. And then he was. So, I mean, your goals and your affirmations, etc., can't be too large. Can't be too large. And Ted Turner who I didn't particularly like until I met him many years ago. One of his things that his father left him with was to set goals you cannot accomplish in your lifetime. Cannot. And when I heard that, it was like magic. I heard, wow, that's really smart. That's really neat. What Ted's father, before he committed suicide, his father committed suicide apparently. So, I mean, it can't be. I can just imagine, well, I don't know if he's published him, what Elon Musk goes at. I know that Bill Gates, a computer in every house in America. He now says, I should have said on the planet, and I should have said, because now everybody's got more than one computer, I should have said 3 computers in every house in America. And Bill Gates, he was focused on building Microsoft, and he did that. And just about almost every house in America does have a computer, or some form thereof. What else about the movies?
Success.
You got to be crystal clear on your goals. Like, you have to just be crystal.
Yeah. One of the goals that I had was I wanted to live in a grand estate. And I saw the nannies and the governesses, plural, teaching my kids. Now, we tore the tennis court down because I built the tennis court, and then I tore it down because nobody played tennis anymore. But I saw 2 tennis courts. I saw a grand estate, a castle on an island with a lock around it. No lock. Close enough for government work. And I saw those things, and I saw the turrets like at Disneyland, Fantasyland. I saw those turrets. Then, actually 17 months later, I lived here.
I have to go smell a lot of leather. Like, I need to go see houses.
Yeah, and it all started with my girlfriend at the time, and I looking at the 1970, 71 $1 million houses were big. I mean, they were 20,000 square feet on 10 acres. Tennis courts, racquetball was the rage then. Racquetball courts, underground racquetball courts, all for $1 million to $1.3 million. Now, I mean, it's laughable to think that those houses are tens of millions. And it started with going to those houses. And I told you yesterday we'd show up and they said, well, when do your parents get here? Who's going to live in the house? And ultimately, when we bought the first house, the plastic surgeon across the street, third week comes over to see, they thought we were brother and sister. And they said, when are your parents? Are your parents traveling around the world? Or no, we're the residents. So you have to be really over the top, and you have to be crystal clear. I saw with great clarity the goals. What else?
Success is brewed behind the scene.
Say it again.
Success is brewed behind the scene.
Breathe.
Breathe.
Okay. Anybody can understand what he said?
Success is built behind the scenes.
Oh, built behind. Oh, well, you're the interpreter now. Of all people, you take him as the interpreter. Yeah. And back there, somebody had.
Mentorship can change your life.
Yeah. When we go over some numbers, I think it's tomorrow. Businesses in the last 25 years that were built without mentors, and businesses that were built with mentors. This is not much of an exaggeration. I mean, without mentors, with mentors. Bill Gates and the name line, but these guys have mentors, and because it's easier to model when we talk about how you pick a mentor. Just briefly, it's somebody that is where you want to be already. They've already created an atmosphere around themselves because they've done what you're dreaming about, and they can relate to what you want to do. When yesterday Andres was on, the webinar, when he was talking about his chairman, he said his chairman understood what he wanted to do. You don't want to have to explain. If they don't get it, then they're not the right person. If they say, well, it's the economy, the this, the that, that's too difficult, they're the wrong guy or gal. Yes, ma'am.
The other thing too, and I don't know if I really got it last night, but I've gotten it so far, is be really careful about who you're spending your time with, like entirely. Like, it's better to talk to nobody than to talk to the wrong people.
Amen.
Get the hell out of there.
Amen. You better, remember I said late yesterday afternoon, you have to learn to be alone but not lonely. And I said, I think the first day, if you can't spend a weekend by yourself, just with nobody else, then something's not right. You're not happy with yourself. I've heard people say, I got a cabin fever. I need to get out. Get out for what? You're not happy with what you're doing. You've got enough stuff, information to last you a lifetime. A lifetime to go over. I mean, and if this is really your calling, and some of you it won't be, to be all you can be, it's a full-time job. And I dreamt last night, I woke up about 2:23, looked at the clock, that we bombed Korea. This morning I get up, and Korea says, if you fuck with us, we're going to nuke you. Didn't say it quite that way, but that's what the implication was. Now, whether that's going to be like some of the other things I've told you that I thought were going to happen and then they did happen, I don't know. But I dreamt that we bombed Korea and the war was over in 72 hours. All these guys that flap their fucking mouth about they're going to do this to the U.S. and do this, they can't do shit. They don't have the firepower. All they have is the fear over you cunts. That's the only thing they have. They have dick. It'll be over so fucking quickly. And like in the Vietnam War, we had one Vietnamese fellow, if we had done what we could have done, that would have had a whole different outcome. But we're always worried about humanity and what legacy we'll leave and what will they say about us. That's not any way to fight a war. You run towards the gunfire and kill everybody. The only person, not the only, but one of the only persons on YouTube that had something derogatory to say is when I was asked, on a podcast a few years ago, if you were dropped naked in the world and with a laptop, which is, it just shows you where we are with a fucking laptop and be naked. What would you do? And I said, I'd go find a rich guy and I'd cut his thumb off because it's probably thumb activated. And they were all beside themselves because I would cut somebody's thumb off. You have no idea what I'm capable of, kid. Fuck. Anyway, it's Armageddon. Could I'm naked with a laptop, and so I just cut the fucking guy's thumb off and activated his accounts, and so now I'm not there with penniless. So now I've got a little breathing room. I figure out what I'm going to do. But if they took all the money away from all the rich people in the world and they spread it around for the 7.4 billion, the same fucking people would get all the money again. And the same dirtbags would be poor. Do you think that if they took all of President Trump's money away, the next round he's going to be poor? No. Me? No. None of these guys. Maybe there'd be 5% deviation. The QLA mentees from cutting people's head off and shitting down their neck and cutting their thumb off and taking the money out of the bank. That's the only difference. The 100,000 kids that I've trained in the last 20 years will be rich. That's the only difference. But everybody else would be the same. Yes, ma'am.
The only people that would judge you for is people that don't have any money.
Yes, amen to that too. And most of the derogatory comments that I've gotten on YouTube over the years, and they're all, not all, they're almost all poor. They're almost all poor. And but I predict that the way that this humanity is going to end this time is it's going to be the haves against the have-nots. And my heirs from my loins, 300-400 years from now, are going to sit up in the turrets up there with whatever the equivalent of 50 calibers are and cut them down like fucking dogs. You know, like these movies where people are climbing up the walls and the dead bodies and they're stacking them on each other and they're crawling up on the back of that's what it's going to be like. They're going to cut them down like fucking dogs. Be pouring oil over the turret and setting them on fire. And it's going to be the haves against the have-nots. And it's already starting. It's already starting. And the snowflakes are going to just be taken out like, they're just going to be taken out. There was a great movie from the middle 90s with Sylvester Stallone and Wesley Snipes called Terminator Man or Demolition Man. And they come back in 2045 and the big earthquake or something happens and Santa Barbara is now part of Los Angeles County, San Diego is part of and everybody is peace and happiness. And they haven't had a crime in 7 years, and then Wesley Snipes is released from being frozen, and he's out there and he's killing people. So they got to bring somebody back that knows how to do police work and knows how to. And so they bring Sylvester Stallone back, and but everybody's happy, and everybody, there's no crime, this and that. And then they said there's only one man. I mean, he had been put frozen for 170 years for killing bad guys, killing hundreds at a time. And we used to show that movie, this is what you're going towards. And everybody's having, they're all wearing Jesus robes, and everybody's happy. And until somebody that knows how to cut a thumb off and put it, and activate their bank accounts. And that's the way we're going. And that's how, Greece and Rome fell and a number of other civilizations. What else about what you saw last night?
Just don't stop.
Don't stop. Yeah. The only absolute guarantee in life is if you give up, then you fail. You give up. Everybody, not everybody, but various people come up with reasons why they stop. I remember 20 years ago, one of the kids said, God, I didn't know. I know you told me. Everybody says I tell them it's hard because I'm trying to set them up as some sort of marketing gimmick to get people here. It is hard. I say if it was easy, there'd be a QLA shop next to every Starbucks on the planet. But it is. Okay, kids, we'll see you. Thanks, YouTube.